The church will say, and they will not do it. But if they make the plan, they will do it. It's their plan, their baby. She takes the food and puts the cell phone in the refrigerator, and she closes the door, and then she says, I cannot find my cell phone. And I wrote the plan, and then I prayed for confirmation, and you called, and what you tell me is exactly what I wrote down on paper. He says, whoa! I said, you too? I prayed for resurrection over the cell phone. Nothing. Oh, what did you do with our plans? I said, I don't need your plans. I want God's plans. Prayer was number one. It took us the whole time just talk about prayer, and we have 10 steps. Yeah. Number two, preaching. I'm not going to spend time on it. It was systematic preaching, not only on one subject, not only one sermon, but taking a subject and for 6 months pounding on it, again and again and again and again and again and again, until people get it, from all directions, from all perspectives, and then having small groups talking about it, and then have them decide how they can implement it, and then have them pray about it, and then have them come with plans. You follow me? Preaching that is involved preaching, not passive preaching. But people talk about it and plan on it. And then we had visioning. This is powerful, visioning. If you make the plan, doesn't matter if you are the pastor or the elder or whoever you are, the conference. The church will say, and they will not do it. But if they make the plan, they will do it. It's their plan, their baby. You follow me? Therefore, you always need to make sure. It doesn't help if you are good, you are right, but you are alone. You will not get anywhere alone. You cannot be the general, you are right, you are the captain, and you fight the war. You need the army to fight the war. You cannot be the choir director and sing. You need the choir to sing. The same with the church. Even if they don't move as fast as you move, well, pastor, after this prayer seminar, I went back to my church and told them, and they didn't get it. And it's your problem. It's not their problem. You didn't pray enough for them. You didn't explain enough. You didn't persist enough. You better move slower and have the church with you than move fast alone. And so, what happened? Visioning was meant that they get the vision, not me, the pastor. Pastors come and go, everybody with a new idea. Oh, a new pastor came with a new idea. They need, it's their church, they need to have the vision. So, parenthesis, my wife and I started to pray for God's vision because we didn't know what to do in that city. Very rich, very affluent, very highly educated city, plus, besides a lot of rich people, a lot of Baptists. The church very skeptical about growth. What do? I need God's plan. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So my wife and I prayed for God's vision, for God's plan, how to reach the city. And we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed, and nothing happens. Why doesn't God answer? Number one, because we are not ready. If God would have told Noah to build an ark after one prayer, Noah would not have obeyed. It takes a lot of prayer so God could prepare you for a crazy plan so you would accept it. Number one, God has to change you. Number two, God has to change those that would implement the plan so they would be willing to implement it. Number three, God has to prepare the community. So don't expect one prayer that would give the vision to the church or you'll get the vision from God. You need to be persistent until you are ready for the vision. And so my wife and I prayed consistently for another 3 months for the vision. Not only that we prayed for the vision and for the church, but we prayed for every department, every leader, and we prayed also 1 day a week. We would go to the church, lock ourselves, or myself, it depends, in the church, and pray over every chair. Ask God to fill that chair. And pray in the parking, that God would fill the parking, that we would have no room and we would park on the grass. Basically, that takes sacrifice and commitment and perseverance. It was 3 months later, I was at camp meeting. I love camp meeting and I hate camp meeting. I love the fellowship, I hate pitching old tents with spiders and mold. We were pitching tents. It was a Monday. It was my time to pray the whole day in the church. Every Monday I would go, lock myself in the church and pray in the building. I was at camp meeting, so I prayed pitching tents. And in the evening, after I got my supper, I went in the room and prayed the whole night. I said, Lord, I'm not going to let you go before you give me the vision for this community, for this church, for this city. Well, I fell asleep praying. I was tired. Do you think if you fall asleep praying, God is upset with you? Oh, he loves you. If your baby would fall asleep while you talk to him, do you think that you are going to hate the baby or give him a kiss and put him in the bed? God would prefer somebody that prays so much that he would fall asleep than somebody that doesn't pray. Oh yeah, I fell asleep praying. What's the big deal? David says, when I go to sleep, I am with you. Through the watches of the night, I wake up and you are still by my bed. Isn't that nice? You fall asleep together with God, you wake up and he's still there watching you. Isn't that a beautiful picture in Psalm? Anyway, and so I fell asleep praying for God's vision. God woke me up at 2 a.m. with a bunch of thoughts in my mind, all of them strange. And I remembered what my father told me, write them down. I wrote down everything, and then when I read them, I said, this is crazy, they are going to kill me. So I prayed for confirmation. I wrote everything down around 4 a.m. I was done. And then I prayed until 7 a.m. for confirmation. God, I'm not going to let you go. You can kill me. I'm not going to let you go. I mean, if you kill me, you kill me. That's okay. You remember? Jacob, don't let you go before you bless me. So around 7 a.m., breakfast time. I'm not going to lose breakfast. Breakfast, Sabbath, they are holy, you know. And so I stopped praying to go and eat. And my telephone started to ring. It was Dr. Schmidt from Andrews. He says, Pavel, you remember 4 months ago you called me to preach in your church? Yeah, how could I forget? You said no. Call me to preach to the students on prayer, and I'm going to say no. Payback, you know. He says, come on, do you know I am scheduled 2 years in advance? I said, me too. Move to the subject. What do you want? Well, this conference, he told me the name, by mistake they scheduled me when they have graduation. So they cancel my meeting, so I have a Sabbath. I'm willing to come to your church. I said, now we talk. So I said, what are you planning to do? He says, well, we have a pilot project in Andrews. We try to see how to do evangelism and Bible studies in a different way. And we tried evangelism this way, and this way, and this way. It didn't work. When we tried this way, it worked. We tried Bible studies, male, 0.05%. I don't remember the numbers, but very low. Don't quote me on numbers. I have it in my doctoral paper, but I don't, it's too many numbers. And then we tried giving Bible studies at the church, 1% to 1.5% return. And then we tried to visit them at home, 2% return. But then we tried not to teach them and visit them in the home, 78% return. Quite a jump from 1% to 70, I don't remember, 76 or 78. Quite a jump. And then he said, we want to implement it in your church as a pilot project to see how it works, practically. And then I said, tell me the steps. When he started to tell me the steps, were exactly the steps that God woke me up at 2 a.m. and I wrote them on a paper. One by one. Precisely. I said, whoa! He says, what? I said, I've been praying for 3 months and God woke me up last night and I wrote the plan, and then I prayed for confirmation, and you called, and what you tell me is exactly what I wrote down on paper. He says, whoa! I said, you too? So I go back to my church, and we have a board meeting, and I tell them, I've been praying, you have been praying for God's vision. God woke me up, I asked for confirmation, Dr. Schmidt called me and told me the same steps. They said, Pastor, tell us the steps. I said, nope. If I tell you, you'll never do it. Oh, you prayed, you do it. You need to pray the way I pray, so God will tell you what he told me. Then we do it. Oh, please, Pastor. I said, fire me. No, come on. Nope, not going to happen. More than that. You have a month. Today we cancel the board meeting, but we have to have a board meeting. No, you don't. You have a month to pray. If you don't pray, next month we cancel board meeting again. And if you don't pray, next month we cancel it again until you pray. and plead that God would give you the vision. If you don't like it, call the conference. Now we love you. I said, I love you too. That's the reason I want you to pray. And I said, I'm going to embarrass you in front of the church. Next Sabbath, I'm going to tell the whole church that I told you to pray. And then I'm going to ask you from the pulpit, who didn't pray, raise your hands. Please don't lie. And I'm going to put you in front of the church on the spotlight. Pastor, don't do that. You know I am crazy. I'm going to do it. And then Monday, I called the board. Tuesday, I called the board. Wednesday, and I said, I'm not kidding. I'm going to pray with you to remind you to pray. So they started to pray. Next month, I said, how many of you prayed? All of them. Wonderful. Who has the vision? 2 of them. They told me exactly the same steps. In short words, less explanation, same vision. I said, praise the Lord. Now I want you to tell the board, not me, the pastor. It has to be your vision with people from among you, that you know that you are leaders from among you. You follow me? Their elder, their leader, their deacon, their treasurer, people that they have been for 70 or 50 or whatever years together, not me, the new pastor. It has to be their vision. So they shared, and after they shared, I repeat it again so they would hear again in more explanation. So, because they have prayed so long, they already were flexible and humble, different environment. And because God gave them the vision, they were willing to support it. So we said, listen, we try for 1 year. If it doesn't work, we don't try again. But let's try different ways of doing evangelism. Okay? And so, we got a vision. I'll never forget, I had them at my house. Because in the board meeting, people are used with board meetings, typical board meetings. We start here, we finish here. I want them to open. I want them to pray. I want them to stay 5 hours if needed. When we talk about vision, not about a board meeting, about vision. So people love food. So I called them Sunday morning, the whole board, to our house. I told them, don't make my wife work hard. I want you each to bring some food, and my wife is going to cook some Romanian food. They brought food. They came Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. We ate together, and then I sent them in the forest. I said, I want you to go in the forest, pray for the vision. Don't come back before God gives you the vision. They came back in 5 minutes. Okay, write down. Each one give me 2 points what you think should happen in our church. They gave me the paper. We need to start in time and finish in time. We need to seal the parking. We need to paint the walls. I said, okay, is this the vision? Yeah. Threw it in the fireplace. Oh, what did you do with our plans? I said, I don't need your plans. I want God's plans. These are normal plans. I want crazy plans. I want big plans. I want impossible plans. I want you to tell me that Jericho is going to fall. I want you to tell me that the sea is going to split. I want you to tell me something crazy. Unless it's crazy, it's your plan. I don't need to hear it. I said, I want you to go back in the forest and humble yourself and pray 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. Don't come back. If God doesn't give you the vision, go home. They went back. Thank you. Whoever gives you a cup of water, her reward will be great in heaven. By now we have been preaching on prayer a lot, and they were praying a lot. So they valued prayer. So they went back in the forest. About 1 hour and a half to 2 hours later, they started to come back with their heads down, heavy. Pastor, we have been praying with honesty for the last 3 months. And we have been praying today like never before. And we pleaded to the Lord that we are willing to change, but we need to know what to do. We need His plan, because our plans don't work. Ellen White has a quotation. She says, when we, with broken heart, express our total dependence on Him, our need, that's when He answers. And they came and they said, Pastor, this is the vision. And one started, we want television. The other one, we want a radio tower, 24/7 preaching in 2 languages. I said, are you crazy? Who has the money? The next one, we want to do canvassing every year from now until Jesus comes in the whole city. 320,000 people. Next one, we want to have at least 1 evangelistic series, if not 2, every year from now on until Jesus comes. Next one, we want to have 12 seminars a year, 1 each month. Felt need seminars for the community. Next one, we want to, And they went on and on. And one of them said, we want to change the world. I said, what? 90 people, church, local, small group. You want to? Yes, you said crazy. We want to impact the whole world. And I asked them to go in the forest and pray. And I didn't go in the forest and pray. I spent time helping my wife cook. And when they came back, I was not prepared. So I dismissed them. I said, this is too much. This is too difficult. We need money. We need people. It's impossible. Pastor, you told us that if the vision is from God, it's going to be big, impossible, but God is going to provide the resources. Didn't you? Yes, but this is too big. Let's just pick one. We cannot pick everything. But you said, leave me alone. And they got discouraged with me because they have been praying for it. They left. Next day, I was speaking for North American Division for the prayer ministries. All prayer coordinators from the whole NAD, from Canada, from America, from conferences, from churches, and Ruthie Jacobson organized it. And we had a lot of people in South Carolina come to that meeting. A lot of, every conference, most of the conference prayer coordinators and most of the ministerials and most of the leaders, and they came there. And I spoke, and after I spoke, I go to my hotel room, and I want to rest a little. I want you to know I am picky, sick picky. I put my clothes straight. I hate them when they are moved that way. I put my shoes organized. I am crazy picky. I've never lost a cell phone. Now I lie, because it did happen finally. I've never lost a key. I never broke a cell phone. My cell phones could be 10 years old. They are still new, not a scratch. My wife loses a phone every month. She would talk to the kids, and meanwhile get something from the refrigerator. Her hand is busy with the telephone, and her hand is busy with the food. She takes the food and says, give me a second, I need to put the food on the stove. She leaves the cell phone in the, she takes the food and puts the cell phone in the refrigerator, and she closes the door, and then she says, I cannot find my cell phone. She would go on the deck, talk to the kids, leave it on the deck. 3 days later, after a lot of rain, I cannot find my cell phone, I find it dead. She would, how in the world do you lose cell phones and keys? You know, I've never lost one. She says, you don't understand, you criticize me. No, I love you, but just stop losing them. Well, I finished preaching. I put my laptop on the table. I put a cup of water next to it and my cell phone. And when I opened my laptop, I hit the water and it spilled over the cell phone. And my cell phone died. And I tried to take, in that time you could take the battery out. I took the battery out, I used the hairdryer, nothing. And then I put it in a bag of rice, nothing. The telephone would not even turn on. It was dead, dead screen, dead cell phone. I prayed for resurrection over the cell phone, nothing. And so eventually I gave up. I go to Ruthie. Ruthie, I never go to sleep without calling my wife, good night, you know. I need to talk to my wife. Why don't you call her? I broke my cell phone. Okay, take mine. Ruthie gave me her phone. I called Dana. She sees Ruthie's number, says, hi, Ruthie. I said, no, it's me. Why don't you call me on your cell phone? I don't want to talk about it. Tell me. I broke it. She says, praise the Lord. What? Now finally you give me peace. You leave me alone. You finally broke one. I said, let's change the subject because I already have stomach pain about it. She says, what? It's a cell phone, move on. No, I broke it, I hate it. She says, just, it's good for you to break once in a while a cell phone. So you calm down about it. Anyway, so I talk to her, say good night, love you, bye. And then I go to prayer. And I am unable to pray. I have no peace. And I say, Lord, if there is something between you and me, you need to tell me. And God says, you ask people to pray. I gave them the vision, and you opposed me. I said, Lord, I'm so sorry. I ask forgiveness, and I'll go before the church. I have no pride. I'm going to confess my mistake if you fix it. I need you. I'm sorry. I confess my mistake. I know you forgive me, but I need you to fix it because you love me and you love the church, and those people have no fault. On my dead cell phone started to ring. It's a lady. She says, I am Jackie from Charter Cable TV. I don't know you. Do I know you? No, you don't know me. But our Charter TV covers over 150,000 households in the city. And I've been looking to put some spiritual things that would nurture people spiritually and emotionally. And every church that I look to, they have the sermon so diluted that I have no pleasure, or so political, or so money-oriented. And I listen to your sermons, and I listen, and listen, and listen. I just think the city needs it. So she says, we charge 8,000 to 12,000 an hour. Depends on the time of the day. I'm going to give you 4 hours a week for free if you are willing to put your sermons for the city. Duh! She says, do you want it? I said, give me 5 hours for it. 5 hours, done. Okay! And then I was sorry, I didn't say 6 hours, you know. And I said, Lord, you just gave me television for free. And I said, well, my telephone works. I looked to my telephone, I looked to it, my telephone is dead, not even light. And while I am looking to the dead phone that has no screen on, dead, it starts ringing. And it's a guy, he says, I go to the other church, 24, 25, 26 miles west. Our church is very small, 30, 40 people. And God put in my heart, this guy, very rich, he owns a big factory. God put in my heart to start a radio tower, but my church doesn't have the potential. So I'm going to donate to you the building, the rent, make a contract until I die or until Jesus comes, and I'm going to give you the tower, the equipment, the machinery, all the equipment, if you would put your sermons 24/7. And by the way, I want you to put it in 2 languages, English and Spanish. Everything that my members proposed, I got within 40 minutes on a cell phone for free. I finished talking to the lady. The conference called me. He says, I am so-and-so. I'm not going to tell you the name because you may know him. I am the literature coordinator. We want to teach our kids from our academy to do canvassing. And we like your prayer emphasis in your church and the changes that we see in your church. People stopped calling and complaining. People actually started to call us and to tell us that they love it. We want our kids to be in that environment. So would you allow us to bring our kids to do canvassing for you every year? And we are going to pay the kids, pay the sleeping, the lodging, the food, and pay the books. We will do it all for you. We got canvassing for free every year in our city, and I could go on and on and on and on. I went back that Sabbath to the church, and I said, listen, I'm so sorry for what I did. I didn't pray. I asked you to pray, and I was busy preparing food. So God gave you the vision, and he didn't give it to me, though I am the pastor. So this is what happened, and I asked forgiveness, and God fixed it. So this is what we got. It was graduation time. Everybody screaming, throwing hats. I'm exaggerating. And I thought, they are going to hate me forever because I preach and I don't do what I preach. They came to me, hugged me, and said, we love you, pastor. You are the single first pastor that you have that is honest and vulnerable. You know, politicians, they never do a mistake. Wouldn't they be better say, I'm sorry for this? Huh? And they said, we love you even more now. I said, okay, good deal. So visioning came from God to the members. Do you follow me? Yes. When God gave the plans and people prayed, God gave the means. We did need more money. I told them, we have the tower, we have this, we have that. But we need another 24,000 for all the paperwork. But people could see God's hand. I gave them 3 months to raise 24,000. Next week we had 56,400. Because when you ask for money, they will not give it. But if they see God working, you need to tell them, stop giving. You follow me? You never have a problem of money. The problem is that you have too much. If they know that this is not a human project, if they sense God moving, they support it. The problem with our church is not lack of money, it's lack of God's presence. Amen. When God comes, money comes. That's not a problem. I could give you stories. We built a church in Romania without any money. The community poured the concrete for us. I could go on and on and on. We just prayed over it. But anyway, that's a different story. And so, visioning, okay, visioning. The plan must come from God. You follow me? Yes. Visioning. They told me, we love when we come to your house because it's not board meeting. We pray together, we eat together, we talk together, we go in the forest and we pray again. We go in groups and we pray for one another. We share ideas. It's like relaxed. And they said, no other pastor invited us to his home. I said, okay, deal. From now on, leaders twice a year and the whole church twice a year, or together 4 times a year. We come to my house. God blessed us in that time, not now. We are blessed now too, but we have only a little property. There we had 50 acres. On top of the mountain. I counted one time 176 cars parked in front of the house. That should say a lot. And I would invite the church, and we would have a bonfire, and we would eat, sing, pray for one another. A few of them, every time, a few others would share in 3 minutes a little from their commitment or conversion or experience with God. And then we would have games. I tell you what, no sermon would unite the church like games do. One time I told them, my garden is so big, produce so much, I gave the neighbors, we still have too much. So I gave everybody a bucket of tomatoes and the $1 plastic cover for rain from Walmart. And they said, what should we do? Get dressed. Take the bucket. What should I do? I said, tomato fight! They looked at me like, are you crazy? But I did talk to the kids before. The kids were ready. When I said tomato fight, the kids started to hit the head elder. The wife of the head elder started to hit back. I started to hit them. They started to hit me. Soon enough, the whole church was fighting. After he finished, they came to me. This is the best day we remember in the history of our church. After they prayed together and played together, the church comes together. They're like family, friends. There was no more criticizing, no more judging. They were one. You follow me? And they had fun, and they loved it. We had snowball fight. We had water sliding on our property. I could go on and on and on. We had prayer, and we had games, and we had meals, and we had sharing, and the church became one. People love to have those activities. You follow me? And so visioning was not only prayer, was prayer plus. You understand? Moreover, first time when I invited them, when I told them about prayer, not too many came. When I told them about food, everybody came. Prayer plus. But don't spend time in talking too much or eating too much. Spend more time in prayer. Amen. Hello? You heard me? Yes. Don't talk about prayer without praying.